If somebody reputable starts talking about UFOs, you can co-opt the person and say, hey, you want to know UFOs? We'll show you the real deal. But not only can you never talk about it publicly, you have to be a debunker publicly.
I'll tell the government right now, tell you right now if you're listening, NSA, CIA, I'm available, okay? If you show me all the real wreckage, I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother. I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother.
Slow key, and I say I am Mr. Super Facts. I think I'm gonna have to make a completely separate top 5 of people that I hate. Joe Rogan and Donald Trump definitely are pissing me off. So yeah, 25 million views as of now. The interview with Donald Trump and Joe Rogan. I'm gonna get into a couple of clips of why Joe Rogan is he's just a controlled asset of the CIA or whatever bullshit shadow conglomerate is going on behind the scenes. Joe Rogan isn't allowed. Joe Rogan is not true alternative. Joe Rogan is not a truther. Donald Trump is not a truther. Neither of them care about the truth. All they care about is money and status and fame. Okay, regardless of what they say. It's as simple as that. I'm still trying to figure out. It's funny. I was at work last night and I was watching Fear Factor, and I was like, how does this person go from Fear Factor to this a host on this game show where people are eating roaches? It was funny. The episode that I was watching, I guess they filmed it at the Bates Motel, whatever that is, or whatever. I guess it's like a haunted place. I don't know. And they had couples. They had couples on the show, and the couples, the very first challenge they basically were buried alive. The girl and the couple had to lay in a casket, and the guy in the couple had to dig them out the casket. While they were in the casket, they poured just a shit ton of worms in the casket and rats or whatever. And I'm just like, how does this person go from Fear Factor, hosting Fear Factor, to the biggest podcaster in the world? And his claim is to be a comedian, but nobody in the world finds, well, let me not say nobody, but very few people in the world even find him funny for his craft. I mean, come on, man. So it's just weird how people get fanboyed out. I'm going to get into the clip now, but it's very weird and it's sad and pathetic how people get fanboyed out over the likes of a Joe Rogan or something like that, when it's like all he's doing is sitting down. So he's famous for sitting down at a table and talking to other people. That's what he's for, talking to other people that you idol worship. So that's what he's famous for. Because in this clip right here, this is the reason why Joe Rogan was allowed to get the Donald Trump podcast. Joe Rogan is not a truther. You understand? So this is the reason. This is, check this out.
Too right wing. Beef towel's too right wing.
Exactly. I like sunflower oil.
Joe, did you ask Trump about the assassination? Like, there's nothing on it?
Yeah,
There's
I didn't ask him about
questions?
that. It's hard to corral him. Like I said, he's like very slippery. I don't even mean that in a bad way. I mean that he just he talks.
Yeah,
the guy's a gifted talker. He can just talk. You never have to worry about him running out of things to say. And sometimes he talks himself into corners, but he gets out of it, But it's just like he free balls. That's what he does. And so when I was talking to him about this he was just joking around. We started talking about the UFC because I wanted to see the scar on his ear. He doesn't have a little mark on his ear.
Yeah.
He did have a mark.
Yeah, he does
He
have
got shot.
It's a small mark on his, but your ear is filled with blood vessels. That's why it bleeds so much.
Yeah.
It heals quick.
quickly, yeah.
So, he was just talking about Bo Nickel and cauliflower ear. Next thing he wanted to talk about who's the best ever. Like he's a real.
Talk about it.
He's a real. Well, he did.
Nobody in the true community believes Donald Trump was grazed or shot. They love saying that. They love saying that because now it's just these people can't help it. They're spiritually dead. They can't help it. Their soul is they're lost souls. They're spiritually dead. They can't help but idol worship. They can't help but fucking worship man as if it's God, as if it's source. They literally can't help it. So they have to make this story like, larger than life. They got to put this guy, on a pedestal when it's like a real truther. We don't even believe he was shot. We don't believe he was shot. We believe the whole thing was staged because that's what they do. That's what they've been proven to do. Example given, weapons of mass destruction. I'll just leave it there. Example given, the face diaper era. I mean, and it's just funny because the last video I did, YouTube took my video down. I'm a nobody. And it really fucking enrages me how it's like everybody, all of these fucking, that's what I'm saying, the Joe Rogans of the world, they're allowed to do their little conspiracy. They're allowed to have their conspiracy moments, right? Where they question whatever, the mainstream media, whatever. But as soon as like a real truther does it, as soon as a real truther gets up on here and starts having conversations, you get terminated. It's just ridiculous, bro. They start fucking with your videos, taking your videos down. You can't win. So when you telling the real truth, you'll never have 25 million views on a video. That's the point that I'm trying to make. It's sad, but it's the truth. When you really telling the real truth, you're not going to have however many subscribers Joe Rogan, you're not going to have 7.6 million subscribers because they're not. The algorithm and this demonic AI that they got in place and these lizard people, they're not having that. They're not having it. So this guy is on here once again, a real truther. We don't believe that this guy was shot. He did not have to get any stitches. I mean, come on, man. Donald Trump was out here at the convention or one of these places, whatever, wearing the let's see if I can pull it up. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Look at this shit. Look at this shit here, man. Look at this. Look at these zombies, man. Trump is out here. Mind you, he did not, whatever this was, the facts of the matter, this is not my opinion. The facts are he did not even require any stitches. He did not require any stitches. So why the hell is he walking around with a damn Band-Aid that looked like a tampon on his ear? When shit is unexplainable like this, it's because it's a ritual. It's a ritual that's going on that your ass, you have not been, you're not in the club. So you don't know what's going on. To a truther, automatically we're like, this makes no sense to us, but to them, for the people that are initiated, this was a ritual. It's as simple as that, man. Okay? So a lot of times when shit don't make sense or feel like, they're trying to force feed a narrative down your throat. They're trying to just hijack your emotions. It's a ritual. They need your cooperation. They need you to participate in this shit. These people are fucking zombies, man. Never in my life could I imagine being this stupid. You know what I mean? So yeah, finish off this Joe Rogan clip.
Get a little bit, but he said it was surreal when he won the presidency. It wasn't surreal when he got shot. I thought that was fascinating.
Wow.
He said being in the White House was surreal. He goes, walking into Lincoln's bedroom, he goes, it was very surreal. But when he actually got into the White House, he said it just didn't make any sense. It was very, very surreal. He said getting shot did not seem surreal. He goes, he was on the ground. He knew who he was. They thought he was shot all over the place because of the blood, because it was, the fog of confusion, and there's blood on his face, and nobody knew where he had been hit. So they were all, and then they got him out of there.
So much blood, but he didn't require a single stitch. And let's not even talk about how people were screaming, hey, there's a shooter on the roof. Let's not even talk about that. I did not watch the Joe Rogan interview. I'm going to. I wanted to watch it live on here and react. But it's just like I haven't even watched the interview, and I'm 100% sure he never asked Donald Trump, was it staged? Was this some sort of operation or a satanic ritual? I'm 100% sure he never asked that. Is this, were you deceiving the people? Was this an operation for you to deceive the people? I'm 100% sure he never asked that. And because he never asked that question, it shows me all I need to know about Joe Rogan, because as a podcaster or a journalist or interviewer or whatever, you're going to ask questions even if you don't even believe them. The whole point is to answer everyone's questions. These are questions that the people in the internet wants to know, you're going to go through them and you're going to check off every question. There is a huge amount of people that feel like this was not real. This was a fake situation. So for him not to even ask that question, I mean, like I said, once again, I don't know if he did ask it or not. But I'm 100% sure he didn't. This is the reason why Joe Rogan can have these politicians, like, former presidents like Donald Trump and potentially Kamala Harris on his show, because he's not a truther. He's not a truther, and he doesn't care about the truth. And it's sad that so many people they just go for anything when it comes to this guy.
Yeah. But when he stands up and says, fight, fight, fight,
again, they got to make him like a god in the earth realm. You know what I mean? This is, we got to add this to the biography, to the Netflix biography. You know what I mean?
One of the most American things of all.
And in reality, that's just, somebody just let off a shot at you, and then you stand right back up for them to shoot again. I mean, that's literally the most idiotic thing you could do ever. If the entire country needs you to make America great again, and you're voluntarily putting yourself in the line of fire to get your head blown off, sounds like an egomaniac to me. But once again, Joe Rogan is presenting a narrative. This is a narrative, which is, what is a narrative? Bullshit. Okay, bullshit designed to control the minds of an NPC. That's a non-playable character
of all time. And then you can't fake that. That guy got shot. He didn't know if people were still out there shooting. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on.
Did you hear what he just said? There you go.
You can't fake that. That guy.
There you go.
That is one of the most American things of all time. Of all time. And then you can't fake that. That guy got shot. He didn't know if people were still out there.
You can't fake that. Donald Trump got shot. So there's nothing to talk about. I don't trust any fucking loser in this earth realm that tells me, that uses that word can't, that says something along the lines of, you can't stage this or you can't fake that. I don't trust you immediately. The world is a stage. The world is fake and staged. The world is scripted. Everything we see in front of us literally is scripted, bro. Literally. From the fucking commercials and the advertisements we see to when these idiot politicians do a speech off a fucking teleprompter. The speech is scripted. This dude, his show, he goes through, you know, he probably has a bunch of bulletins he goes through. His show is scripted, right? So there you have it. This is why Joe Rogan is allowed to have Donald Trump on his show. Because even if he doesn't truly believe behind closed doors, who knows? Joe Rogan could feel, man, that shit was fake, but he not allowed to say that. He not allowed to say that, and he not allowed to insinuate that. And he's not even allowed to have that conversation. And that's how you know Joe Rogan isn't a truther. Truthers have conversation. We accept any and every thought that comes. If you can think it, it's a possibility.
Shooting, nobody knew what the fuck was going on. And that guy stood up and said, "Fight, fight, fight," and he got out of there.
What do you want to ask Kamala?
So there's that. Once again, never in my life would I trust somebody that would sit up there and talk like that. Never in my life. I was supposed to play this at the beginning of the video, but I'm a fucking idiot. This is the Big Dog Pockets of the Future. This is what's happening. This is what's happening right now. This is what's happening or what's been going on since before I was born. The left-right paradigm. And the beast system. This is what they never taught us. Our parents never taught us this. The school system never taught us this. This is something that you have to go on a spiritual journey to accept this type of shit.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Okay, just a brief introduction. I want to get into some different kind of stuff here and then get back to the idiocracy of it all. Got a hilarious Gwen Walls update. Unfortunately, they're shutting Gwen down. I'll talk about that. I just want to say this about politics. And it's not just politics, it's everything in terms of the way we've been indoctrinated to our worldview. And that is that any problem that is presented to us is the solution. You're supposed to look for it within the beast itself. And in the binary way that you've been trained to think about things, if you see a problem with Donald Trump, then Kamala Harris has to be the solution. And if you see a problem with the Democrats and Kamala Harris and the whole democratic system, then Trump has to be the solution. You understand this? I see this in my comment section all the time. People can't rise above their indoctrination to this idea that the beast itself is the only answer or solution to the problem, right? Like it has to come from all the main.
That's why voting isn't real. Voting is a solution presented to you by the beast. The beast will never present a solution to kill itself. The beast will never present a solution to kill itself. The beast, possesses this form of like self-preservation, just like a human being does. The system is not going to give you, instructions on how to kill it. So that's why I say voting is voting. Once again, when you sit up there and you go vote, and I can't wait for this shit to be over. I hope Donald Trump becomes president, and I hope the country spirals out of control and it gets even worse, so I can laugh in the faces of all these people. Bro, it's bad. I'm talking to people. I can't even have conversations with people in real life because I say one thing and then they immediately go to You know, that's why we need Donald Trump. That's why we need Kamala. It's not like they don't say or feel like that's why we need God, or that's why we need to reconnect with Source, or that's why we need to get our souls right. That's why we need to elevate spiritually. They don't say that. Like these people that I talk to in real life, they all worship man. They all have this weak ass bitch made savior complex. That's why we need a fucking multi millionaire billionaire politician to save our lives and our families. And they want to sit up here and talk about being proud to be an American and all of this shit. Independence, right? I don't know how any fucking human being in America could celebrate Independence Day. You motherfuckers are the exact opposite of independent. Let's have a real conversation. These people are dependent on every level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, on the powers that be. Okay, if the lizard people said, "Yeah, we're done with y'all," just look at what happened in North Carolina, man. Now these people are looking out for each other, but it's like, look at what's going on around the world. If the government said, "Yeah, we're done with y'all, we're not fucking with y'all no more," look how many people will be fucked up. All the people on the getting government money and housing and stuff like that. If the government said, "We're not fucking with y'all no more," look how many people will be fucked up, because people seek out authority before they seek out community. Let's have a real conversation as far as for help. A person will run to the fucking government before they run to their own community to ask for help. You know what I mean? Which is essentially they're running to their enemy.
Mainstream beastly narratives, all the power organizations. There's this narrow bandwidth of reality and of possibility that they give to you in the mainstream story, and there's fringes on either side, right? And so,
good morning, guys, or afternoon. I guess you could say I've been embracing my inner sleepy beauty lately after getting this.
To people who are fringe on the right, there's certain people that you can see. Fringe on the left, there's certain people, but the left and the right aren't really the fringes. The extreme left and the extreme right people are exactly the same. They have different beliefs, but they act exactly the same. They're both annoying. They both suck. They're both radicalized, and they both think that they know more than anybody else. They know more than the normal lefty and the normal righty. They know more than the average person, and they're arrogant about it. It's just like the whole fringe.
That's how you know when you're dealing with a fucking zombie. When you're dealing with somebody that they don't even deserve. If you're a spiritual person, that's how you know you're dealing with somebody that don't even deserve. That they don't deserve the time of day. A wise man admits he knows nothing. You don't know shit. You know fucking nothing. And these people laugh at you because you're so arrogant and you're in this deception. You're so arrogant in this deception. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. That's why I talk to people that always have an open ear. You know what I mean? And they have an objective heart. It's in their heart to be objective. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no time to try to convince somebody of the truth or to be open-minded. I don't care enough about you. I don't. I really don't. You know what I mean?
The people who are on the fringe, and then they come into the truth community and they tell you what's up, and they've just been there for 10 minutes and they don't know what the F they're talking about. And they're just annoying and obnoxious. The cubies and the woke people and all these people, they're all the same. Their personalities, despite their demographics and their beliefs being completely different, they're exactly the same guy. They're the same dude. They're exactly the same people. They're that guy, right? And they're completely unaware of it. And they think they've cracked the code. They've penetrated to something higher. And they're actually kind of the lowest of the low, because they're part of the mainstream system. They're still sheeple, but they're angry and unproductive. Like sheeple, at least producing things. Sheeple, at least, are part of the system and working for the system. If you're going to be in the system that way, you might as well just go for it and, buy into the system. But you have these people on the fringe right and the fringe left who don't buy into the system, but they don't break free. Their mental faculties don't break free from the system. They're still just, dabbling in the mainstream narratives. They're just extreme in their position in terms of the narrow bandwidth, and they don't produce anything. They're just negative, like dragging other people down with them and complaining and bitching and, all these things. And so they're not, they haven't evolved to something else. They're not truthers. They're not breaking free from the mental constraints of the mainstream narrative. And so all these people who are in this, and there's so many truthers now that are going back to this because they've embraced Trump in some stupid way. When Trump has showed them over and over again, he's like he's just a shill for himself more than anybody else. And then, of course, for the power brokers that control.
He had 4 years. He did nothing. He didn't get rid of the Federal Reserve. He didn't get rid of the IRS. He folded when it came to the Rona. He did nothing. He had Mr. He was working with Mr. If we can lower the population if we get enough people to get medicated or to get injected, we can lower the population. Okay. All right. That's what he was working with. And he had a whole cabinet full of Freemasons, secret societies, members, Luciferians, things of that nature. Okay. The whole swamp was working, arm's length of Donald Trump. So he had 4 years to do something, to have an impact on, these tech corporations and the technocracy that we seeing. He didn't do shit. So when you see how people are still so loyal to him and things of that nature, and loyal to like that deception and the illusion of what the Donald Trump presidency was, his term, it just shows you like people are just they're so fucking desperate. That's what happens when you worship man. You become so fucking desperate for that person to like finally come through for you, instead of just accepting the reality of the situation is that they will never come through for you. They don't give a fuck about you. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, okay, y'all do know he can only be president for 4 years. What are you going to do after these next 4 years? In 2029, what are you going to do? Because there will never be another Donald Trump. So what are you going to do? These people are acting like this is the end all be all. And it really does feel like the energy feels so it just feels so off and it feels so weird. And it does feel like this might be the last election. You know what I mean? Not to fear monger or nothing like that, but it's just dumb. I just feel like when it comes to people, man, people are just so they're just getting stupider and stupider and stupider. And this is Idiocracy in 2024. That movie is top 5. That movie is top fucking 5, man. When you can have somebody that go from a host of a fear factor where people are eating bugs and shit to now he's the most famous podcaster and most influential. What? Nothing about that trajectory. You could say Joe Rogan is more popular than Donald Trump, if not on the same level, which is insane. Because what has Joe Rogan done for the people? Nothing. What has Donald Trump done for the people? Nothing. The dude gave you a stimulus check. He gave you your own money back. He gave you your own money back. And that's what people was all excited about.
And handle him, right? And it's because people have these proclivities, these they've been trained to, I'm not what the right word is. Proclivity is kind of the right word, but then there's, they're compelled, they have compulsions because they've been indoctrinated. And you're like, well, I have to pick somebody. I have to vote, don't I? I have to vote. Don't I have to vote? I've been trained my whole life. I have to vote. Well, I got to vote. So who am I going to vote for? One person's at least got to be a little bit better than the other person, right? And so they, focus on the, the solutions that are given to them in the system, and they never break free. And, it's in the medical model.
Solutions that are given to them. The beast will never say, hey, this is how you kill me. The beast will never say, hey, this is how you kill me. I don't trust any person. That's why I said these people really think that you can save the system. That's why, like, Paul might be the greatest truther ever. Paul might be the Mike Jordan of this shit. And I'm being dead serious. Paul might be the Mike Jordan of the truth community, because what he's saying, he's literally like, this is spiritual foresight, and he's preparing you. He's preparing you for when the collapse is inevitable. He's preparing you for when this shit is over, like Mad Max, like post Mad Max. You know what I mean? This is where you need, this is the frequency where you need to get your fucking spirit, or you're not going to make it. That's the type of timing that Pockets of the Future is on. While everybody else is prisoners in a moment, while everybody else has tunnel vision and nobody's looking at the bigger picture or looking ahead, everybody's having conversations about this fucking dude, man. They talking about JFK. Man, that's why it's like, I can't listen to this shit. I can't listen to this shit. I don't give a fuck about no fucking JFK, dog. They talking about a JFK, dog. We out here, a TV dinner is $10 and they talking about JFK. I don't give a fuck about no damn JFK, bro. I don't care about no no QBs. I don't care about none of that shit. You notice how they never talk about like the future. You know what I mean? They never talk about solutions, because the only solution that the beast is going to offer you is to continue to empower it.
And they'll go back, right? They'll flirt with alternative type stuff, but then they'll go back to the they'll get the the bloop or whatever it is. They'll run back to the system as soon as things get scary, and that is their downfall. Because if you're going to be a sheeple, be a sheeple, right? Embrace it. Just go take the blue pill, go back into the matrix. I mean, I don't advise anybody, but that's what you might as well enjoy the sheepleness, the blissful ignorance, and get into the whole thing, right? But if you're going to flirt with the truth and come across this idea that the system is, a web of lies and a deception, then you got to go all the way. At least you have to go farther than you got to go out of the range of the available.
These people do. They say they don't. And I mean, you can watch the videos. People do interviews on YouTube and stuff like that, like in real life, and they ask people, do you trust the government? And they say no, but then they turn around and say, oh well, they're still going to vote. So it's as simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. If you're going to wake up, wake the fuck up. But don't, these people wake up, all right? They put their toe in the water in a conspiracy theory pool. And then what happens is they're afraid to have their paradigm shattered. It's as simple as that. They're afraid. They're afraid. It's as simple as that. They're fearful. They don't want to be. You get to a point where you're like, yo, none of this shit is real. None of this shit matters. And you have to accept it. Whatever programming that you had since conception, it doesn't, like, yo, you were lied to. These people don't want to face their fears at all. They don't want to. They're too scared to. They're too scared to face their fears. A true truther is an individual that has accepted that everything they know is a lie. And they still have to maintain their sanity. That is, and they have to accept it. That is a true truther. All of this shit is a lie, but I have to accept it, and I have to realize that I know nothing. Now what do you do? That's a true truther. Now you have to figure out, okay, well, what is my path? And how do I reconnect with the source so that I don't get recycled into this fucking bullshit? I don't get they don't hit me with the nebulizer, and I don't get recycled into this bullshit and end up at a voting ballot worshiping man. Okay. All right. Donald Trump, thinking Donald Trump is gonna go in a phone booth and come out with a damn cape on.
Narratives that are given to you by the mainstream media. You have to like evolve way past that. But that isn't taking the mainstream narrative and saying, and this is a huge pitfall for truthers. They take the mainstream.
Would you be interested in collecting 5-figure paychecks for a few hours of work, helping me in your spare time?
Media narrative, and they just reverse it and say whatever.
Now this is what he's about to say. At first, I didn't understand what he was saying, but this is exactly like what I'm saying. His just Paul has a great way of delivering his thoughts and you know, how he's perceiving what's happening in real time. And this is what you call the behavior of a fake truther. Or the possibility of that person being like, you know, a controlled asset or things of that nature, how they reverse everything. You know what I mean?
They're saying, I'm going to believe the exact opposite. Oh, they're going to say Trump's bad. Well, he must be good. Oh, they're going to say Trump is a criminal. Well, he must be a saint. You know, people just reverse what they're seeing, right? There's no nuance. They just take whatever's being presented to them, and they just believe the exact opposite. You're still letting the beast dictate what you believe. They're dictating the terms and the choices that you have. And so instead of doing that, you can say, I'm just going to look outside the whole thing. You have the access to the internet and these other ways of viewing things, right? And you have to understand that every part of the system, your religion, which most people can't get free from, their religious indoctrination, and then your social systems and all these things have been constructed. Even the things that you like are part of that illusion. In fact, the things that you like are more dangerous to you than the things you don't like, because those are the ones that keep you enslaved, right? And so if you want to break free, you break free. Like you just say, I'm not going to listen to any of this shit that they're saying. I'm just going to, you know, find a new way of viewing this and a whole new way of going about it. That's why I talk about finding the divinity within and all these other things, right? And so I see this way too much now with the Idiocracy. I mean, I just covered this in my last 2 videos, and I'll cover it here more today, that you have to somehow find this, you know, your solution within the beast that you're rejecting the whole, you know, the whole narrative, the show as a, you know, as an illusion, and yet letting it dictate what you believe and how you see the world and what you hope for.
Right.
The hope is
people are running around programmed and delusional, but they're so fucking caught up that they don't realize it. They're so caught up in their ego that they don't realize it. That's what's happening. When you talk to the average person or you listen to these podcasters, that's what's happening. It's as simple as that. Because if Joe Rogan came up on there and said, I admit I know nothing, that would be a boring podcast. These people have to go on these shows and debate because the people don't want the truth. They want to be entertained. The truth is very simple. You know? The truth is very simple, bro. You don't know shit.
Is not in the beast. The beast isn't producing any real hope. The hope is for a human being that can live outside of the indoctrination and the slavery caused by the beast. And it might not be us because we're too far gone. We're too dependent on this beastly system. But it could be us in a future existence, and it could be our children and grandchildren could break free from this, abomination, or just will have to because it's no longer there.
And that's why, like, the fact that there's so many people that are genuinely interested in, like, debunking the mainstream narrative and things of that nature, trying to get their spirit right. It's sad that there's not a physical truth community, because that would expedite the process of the children, the grandchildren, living in a community where they don't have to mingle with zombies and sheep and NPCs. They don't have to live in a world where they even have to interact with them. That's the whole point of building a physical true community, so that your children's children don't even have to participate. They don't have to participate in the fuckery and the lies and the bullshit. They know, they can see right through the matrix. You know what I mean? Like, as an adolescent, that's the purpose. But people find every excuse not to unite truthers. It's sad. It's really sad. It's like, if you're a real truther, and it's like rare, it's rare because you got more fake truthers out here than real truthers. But if you're a real truther, it's just like, bro, it's like you're a one-man army. And it just feels like you'll never fit in. You know what I mean? You'll never even have the opportunity. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, maybe it's just a personal journey, an individual mission, where it's just like you got to get your spirit right. You can only save yourself. Maybe it's that type of mission.
When it collapses, and then what do you do? Then all this stuff that's in the beast no longer matters. When something dies, the energy leaves. Like, you'll see this. You'll really have some anger and hatred towards a loved one, a relative, and then they die, and it just dissipates because you're hating a memory. Like, the person's gone, right? You're hating their soul. What are you holding on to? And it's not even just something that you choose. It just disappears, right? Your negative feelings for somebody, even if they were abusive, a mean parent, you necessarily aren't gonna. I mean, you might love them just because you love them, because that's just the way it is. But you might not ever like them, and you might not ever, respect what they did to you, or what they did, how they lived their lives. But the anger towards them just dissipates, right? It's the same when a system collapses. You'll lament, and you'll think about all the bad things of the system, and there'll be some, when the beastly system collapses and people are desperate, they'll be angry at it, and they'll be, some, why did you, you made these promises to me and you didn't keep the promises when the beast collapses. But, at the end of it, you have to live your life, and you have to focus on what's there, what's happening, what's present, and you can't dwell in the past. So you have to move on and move forward. And that's what people will do. And so the beastly system is the illusion of its an inevitable, its non-inevitable collapse, that it's too big to fail, keeps people boxed into it, thinking that it's all powerful, and it's simply not. It's like any other system of power. It's there for a while, and it disappears. And when it disappears, people forget about it and they move forward. All right, let me get into this other stuff, and we'll come back to this maybe as I work my way through the video.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform. Add products, showcase them dynamically, and seamlessly track your inventory. Accept multiple secure payments, and design your storefront down to the very last detail. Get all the tools you need. Drive more sales with customizable gift cards and flexible product subscriptions. Retain customers with a point-based loyalty program, email automations, and reach millions with sales channel integrations.
So anyway, I'm gonna slide over to this to the actual interview. All right. 1.4 million likes. We're going to hit that with a nice clean dislike swiftly and abruptly. 25 million. Let's see how many views it got. $25,797,000 views in one day. Okay. Podcasts are officially more important than traditional media now. But what about like policies? You notice how these people never, this is all entertainment. What about policies? What about like solutions? What about like actually like liberty? What about that? What about freedom? What about that? These people just want to be entertained. They don't want to revolt. They don't want to take their freedom back. They don't want to pursue happiness. They just want a little bit and they just want enough entertainment in their miserable slave life. You know what I mean? And then once again, like I said, see, I don't do the views things. I've never been that type of person in my whole life. Oh my God, 25 million people. Why? Okay, that's 25 million sheep. It's 25 million zombies. It's 25 million non-playable characters. It's 25 million people that I'm so thankful that I'm nothing like. That's how I've been like that my whole life. I'm an introvert. I'm a black sheep. I'm all of that shit. I've never fit in. I've never wanted to fit in. It is what it is. So these people, they constantly say, oh, they brag about how many views and they get excited by views. And it's like, first of all, you know what I mean? If that, once again, that's exterior or that's external validation. I could get 0 views on my video and still know that I'm telling the truth and still know it. I'm perfectly fine with that. It don't matter. You know what I mean? So these people, like, this is a new, I don't know. It's just a really like a weak, like on a psychological level, you're weak. You're just weak. Let me not do too much, but you're just a weak person if you need validation from like likes and views and strangers. If you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. It's as simple as that. You don't need nobody to be like, yeah, I agree. No, I don't need you to agree. If I'm telling the truth, it's the truth. The truth doesn't need your validation. The truth validates itself. You know what I mean? So let's read a couple of these comments, man. This will be the most viewed podcast in the entire Joe Rogan collection within a week. All right. This should be mandatory. Long form conversations with presidents who cannot, holding not the promises that they make when they're campaigning. No, right? Hillary Clinton shouldn't be locked up. We should just have Donald Trump should just come on the podcast for 3 hours. Right? The final boss of podcasts meets the final boss of guests. We live in a world where people people give a fuck about what Joe Rogan has to say. We live in a world where people give a fuck about what Joe Rogan has to say. I'm good, bro. This is Idiocracy. This is not even a joke. This is not a game. We're living in a movie from like what? When did that come out? The 2000s, 90s? Oh man. Unbelievable. All right, man. Let's I don't even know if I'm allowed to fucking play this shit, man. Let's see if we gotta speed it up.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
All right, we're rolling. Good to see you, sir. Here we go.
So fake, off top. So fake. So fake. Immediately. Dumbhead Rogan over here. You know what I mean? And then you got this dude over here. I got shot in my fucking ear with no with not a damn stitch, right? Oh my god. Didn't Donald Trump, he was talking about, I'm not going to be able to find it because this shit just came out, but a couple of weeks ago he was saying something about Joe Rogan and the MMA. Like he was saying, I can't wait for people because didn't Joe Rogan say he didn't want Donald Trump to come on his show? Or he wasn't going to interview him? Let me see. Hold on. See, it's not going to come up because this just came out and yeah. But I remember this is how they kind of like rewrite shit because a couple of weeks ago they said that let me say a couple of weeks ago they was talking shit back and forth. So once again, was that scripted? Was it a fake beef like how these rappers do and celebrities do? They fake beef with each other and then they come out with an album or a mixtape or a movie or a podcast. Was it a situation like that?
I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to play this, but we decided we shouldn't play it because it could get copyright strike, and we don't want to get the episode. We don't want anybody to have any sort of way to get it down.
Sure.
But it was the episode of you when you were on The View, and I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
And you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you. They were all talking about how you're you might be conservative in your financial positions, but you're very liberal socially. They were talking about you as such a favorable light. The audience was cheering. And then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
Yeah.
But there's probably no one in history that I've ever seen that's been attacked the way you've been attacked and the way they've done it so coordinated and systematically. When you see those same people in the past, very favorable to you, like Oprah, when you were on Oprah's show, she was encouraging you.
Last week, I did one of her last shows. I think maybe Thursday or Friday. That was a big deal being on Oprah's show, the last one. And I was like one of the last shows in that final week. And I said, boy, we've come a long way since that.
What was it like?
Well, the concept, it was really like two different lives. You know, I had a very wonderful life, but I wanted to do.
All right, so hold on real quick. This is how you gotta, I mean, you know, I know it's hard to keep up with this shit, but this is how, you know, you gotta maintain looking at the big picture, right? So it was over RFK, I remember. Trump fires back at Rogan over praising RFK Jr. Former, he fired back at Rogan. He praised independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy. Okay, and once again, respectfully, fuck all the Kennedys. Could care less about them. It will be interesting. This is what Donald Trump said. He said, it will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring. MAGA 2024. Okay. And he posted that to his True Social site. Okay. See how this is all, you know, it's all coming full circle. Rogan said he's the only one that makes sense to me as far as RFK. Adding that Kennedy doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. Okay. He said, for the record, this isn't an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person. I really appreciate the way he discusses things with civility and intelligence. I think we could use more of that in this world. That is a shot at Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is always, he does the exact opposite. He doesn't talk to people with civility, and he definitely doesn't use intelligence. Okay, Trump is down in the swamp when he's talking to people. All right. There you go. This is Joe Rogan, quote, I'm not the guy to get political information from. Meanwhile, he got 25 million views on this. So he told you out of his own mouth, he's not the guy to get political information from. But all of these people, 25 million people tuned in to the Joe Rogan podcast to watch him have a political conversation. Trump and MAGA turn on Joe Rogan after praise for RFK Jr. Okay. All right. So remember, bro, that's how they manipulate people so much, because we live in this era of just like whatever happened last week, it's like it happened like last year. You know what I mean? So they were just going back and forth with each other. Joe Rogan shouted out RFK, and then basically Trump was like, you're going to get booed at the UFC fight. The fuck? So yeah, there's that. If I can play this, or am I going to get in trouble?
If you ever see this coffee
Jesus
break,
fucking
be warned.
Christ, man.
Its effects are altering.
Anyway. They make you watch a commercial for literally everything. Am I the only person that's like noticing it? They make you watch, they force you to watch a commercial for everything. Remember in They Live, they had all the billboards and shit. Consume, obey.
The Apprentice was still going very strong. 12 seasons. And
once again, Donald Trump is a television actor. What is an actor? A professional liar. What is a politician? A professional liar.
We had actually 14 seasons, 12 years. So we had a couple.
Well, they canceled The Apprentice when you were running for president, correct?
No.
And his hair, his toupee is looking like extra brittle right today. I don't know. The weather, that Texas weather, is looking extra brittle today. Okay, this dude looks like a fucking hybrid, part lizard, part gray.
They had Arnold Schwarzenegger do it. I was involved in that, and I had enough of it, and we did great. It was doing great, but they wanted me to stay. They all came to see me. They said, we're going to give you a contract. They wanted to extend my contract. Mark Burnett is a great guy. Then they wanted to extend the contract. Mark said, you're crazy. Don't run. No. Nobody gives up prime time, they said. It's one of those little things, which is probably true.
Nobody gives up prime time, though, for being president?
For running against 20 some odd people, turned out to be 18 professional people, mostly politicians. They said, who would do this? It's a long shot. Actually, the heads of NBC came over, Paul Telegny, all the top people came over to see me, try and talk me out of it, because they wanted to have me extend. The Apprentice was doing well. So it was 14.
I don't care about that. I saw this. I think it said, God damn it. Let's do this.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
And I think
it's funny. You need at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business. This is a very dangerous business. First of all, it's a very tough business. It's
the most dangerous business.
For a job?
Yes. Other than going to war and being a firefighter.
The most dangerous business. When these politicians sit on their ass all fucking day and go golfing, and they eat off our taxes. Their whole lives, their whole generational wealth is funded off of the hard work that we do. 8 to 15 hours a day.
Or being a cop.
Yeah. These politicians never get held accountable. for the lies they tell and for the bullshit. Once again, you see all the money that's being sent out of this country. I mean, come on, man.
Most dangerous
It's
business.
the most dangerous. For being president is the most dangerous.
Especially you. I mean, you haven't even got to the election. There's been 2 assassination attempts, and they've brushed those out of the news like it was nothing.
Yeah, they'd rather not talk about them.
Imagine if there was assassination attempts on Biden. How hard people would be attacking the right.
Left-right paradigm. Left-right paradigm alert.
Oh, they would be trying to get
Imaginism.
Guns taken away from people. They would try to ramp up gun laws. They would try to figure out some way to blame you. If there was attacks on, if Biden got shot in the ear, we would have never heard the end of it.
And despite that being the case, which is a narrative, at the end of the day, even that's not even a conversation that trumps that is fuck Joe Biden and fuck Donald Trump. That's the conversation that trumps. Well, if it happened on the other side, the left and the right, they're walking in perfect coordination with each other. Their sprinting to deception.
But I think he's in good shape because it's only consequential presidents. If you take a look at what's happened, look, I'm for having countries pay us billions and billions and trillions even dollars. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Nobody took in 10 cents, not one other president. I do things that make it, I mean.
Remember, this guy right here is he's a whore for Israel. Remember that.
That don't
allegedly
necessarily make me so popular. I just do what's right. And when you do that, you're more, look at Iran. We would have never had the attack on Israel at all. Iran was broke. I told China, if you buy, you can't do business in the United States under any circumstance. We're going to go cold turkey with China. Some people think that would have been a good idea anyway. But if you buy any oil, 1 barrel of oil from them, you're not doing business. I said that to many countries. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money. But I make myself, I understand what I'm doing. You make yourself a target, and it's a very dangerous business. But if you just look at statistically, so I sort of think, I don't know if it's right, but 1/10% for a race car driver. That's pretty dangerous business, right?
Yeah.
1/10% for a bull rider. I tell you, to me, these guys that ride the bulls is worse than UFC. It's worse.
Yeah.
These guys that you see these big monster bulls, and you see it in slow motion where the foot is like, an inch away from the head. If it hits him, the guy's gone. But they die. They die.
So 1/10% die. What you're saying?
Yeah, 1/10% die.
Right.
And they certainly get hurt badly. Really, they can't walk after a certain period of time. But with a president, if you look at
the amount of assassination attempts.
And attempts too. Yeah. And attempts. No, it's a very dangerous position. I never thought of that, by the way, when I did it. You don't tend to.
Did you just assume because people loved you on The Apprentice, they were going to love you as a president?
I figured it would be so easy. It's
well, it probably would have been if the media didn't attack you the way they did. If they didn't conflate you with Hitler. I mean, even today, like Kamala was talking about you and Hitler. They're going to take what you said about Robert E. Lee. Oh, Donald Trump wishes the South won.
That's right. He loves Robert E. Lee.
They love to take things out of context and distort things.
But they don't even have to take them out. They make them up entirely. Okay,
they do that too.
But it's interesting when you mentioned I was very popular, and all those people loved me. I mean, some of these women, they're so stupid. And Joy, she would, every time she'd see me, I'd be in the theater or something, and she's, you have to be on the show again. Come on, let's go.
She loved you.
They loved me.
That episode where, people should watch that episode just to see what we're talking about. Like I said, we don't want to get a copyright strike, so we're not going to put it up. But if you watch the episode, it's bananas. It's like an alternative universe, and it's only
but Whoopi
9 years ago.
Whoopi loved
you. Gives you a hug and kiss.
And how about that other one, the new one on there, the one from my administration? She writes me a letter. You're the greatest president. She leaves. She worked as an assistant press secretary. I hardly knew her, but she leaves and she writes me this gorgeous letter. What's her name? She was. I don't even know, anyway, she was in the administration. She's on now currently, sits on the far right-hand side, whatever the hell her name is. And she writes a letter, the most beautiful letter. She's quoted in the paper. He's a consequential, he was the greatest president, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden she goes on the View. She started hitting the hell out of me because they won't hire her unless. I've had many people go on CNN and they call and said, I don't know what to do. They want to pay me a lot, but I have to be negative on you. I said, be negative. That's okay. There are guys on like CNN. They won't hire them. Sean Duffy is a congressman, and he retired. He got a good job with CNN, but he was only positive about Trump. So they kept him, but they would never put him on. I mean, I respect what he did. He could have gone, negative. I tell people, go negative. Let my friends make the money. Well, it's just so crooked. The press is so crooked.
It's crooked, but it's also they're diminishing themselves. They're killing all their credibility, and it's opening up the credibility to new media. It's opening up the credibility to independent media. All these.
The worst I've ever seen, though, and I've seen the worst. I mean, I've been a part of it. I've seen the worst. Kamala goes on 60 Minutes, gave an answer that a child wouldn't give. It was so bad, and 60 Minutes took the answer out. They took the whole, and they put another answer in.
They edited it deceptively,
which didn't make sense either, but it was better. They took it wasn't editing. It was fraud. This was not editing. Editing is where I'll give an answer and they'll take a couple of words and change them around, or they might even take a sentence or two off, which is very bad. But it's sort of bad. I'd give an answer, which was a very good answer. I always talk about, I like to give long the weave. I like to.
Yeah, you like to weave things in.
But when you do the weaves, and you have to be very smart to do weaves. When you do the weave, look at this. Just in this one thing, we're talking about little pieces all over here, but it always ends up. No, it comes back home. For the right people, for the wrong people, it doesn't come back home, and they end up in the wilderness, right? But they can take my answer, and you know what, they may take a little piece of it out or something, and they use the term, yes, we wanted to save time. Well, it's not, but I've never heard. I think it's the biggest scandal in broadcast history. What happened to CBS? Yes. So you have CBS 60 Minutes. It's a news program. It's not an entertainment program. It's under their news. It's the head of their news thing. She gives an answer that shows that she's essentially incompetent. And they took the answer. Could you imagine them doing that?
We can show it if you want people to see it. Can we show it? No,
sure.
We get in trouble. We'll get copyright strike. Okay.
I'll
Anyone can find
indemnify
it,
you.
but it's
This guy says, I honestly don't care who sits in the White House. Just fix the shit. Families are out of money, can't afford food, bills, car payments. Most of us are not concerned about other countries. We are concerned about here. Stop funding the other countries' problems. Fix America. Okay? This is one of the rare comments I've seen where a person is actually not caught up in the entertainment and they actually want, they're talking about a solution. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest. It's for me, somebody like me, it's hard to it's just hard, to sit there and listen to, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard because it's like nothing's gonna come from this. Not a damn thing. The only thing that's going to come from this interview is Joe Rogan just got richer. Donald Trump just got richer. And that's it. And we're going to be us people, us regular people. Okay. Us, the peasant class. Latinos for Trump. I'm dead. This will absolutely make new Trump fans, fanatics, idol worshippers. Thank you, Joe. I love your show. That's why Donald Trump is on his show. That's why he's allowed to have Donald Trump on his show, because it will make new Trump worshippers. You understand? All right. Never click so fast. And how many of these people are robots? How many of these people are fucking robots and not even real? That's another reason why I don't fucking do the whole, oh my God, look how many views. Bro, you don't even, for all you know, 24 million could be bots. For all you know. We live in the age of AI. For all you know, 24 million of those views could be bots. It could be 1 million. So I don't play these games with people, man. I do not play the idol worship game. A true truther will sit up here and say, fuck all these motherfuckers. Okay. The left about to get mad. That's all they worry about. The right be so worried about the left, and the left be so worried about the right, not realizing they're working together, they're walking together in the deception. So there's that. I'm going to end this video because I genuinely don't even feel like I'm going to check this video out offline. It's just boring. It's just boring. You know what I mean? It's just boring. You got Thumbhead over here. And once again, all they're doing is talking. We're not saying, how about you fucking do something? Change something. Get rid of the fucking IRS. Get rid of the Federal Reserve. Get rid of all of these taxes. Stop inflation. Do something. Hire regular people to work in the White House. Hire a regular fucking... Do something. Stop fucking talking. I'm tired of this. This is dumb. All these people do is talk. There's never any real action that helps real people. So that's my take on that. This world is super the world is cooked. It's as simple as that. This world is cooked. And people don't really want to come together unless they're forced to. So there's that. If you want to support the channel, hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/lowkeyt. Cash App fucking nuked my account for no reason. So you can hit up the Venmo lowkeyt for president. Stay woke.